Yeah.
Van Glorious, Van Gogh.
Knowledge born.
Yeah.
United Front.
Tell it.
What you want.
To the Knowledge Radio.
We in here. What you got? Dot.
Work hard as a slave to one day be your savior. The wave unwavering. This is a labor of love. Rise with a purpose every day. Invigorated. If we were on TV, we'd be 10 times syndicated. If we waited for validation, a paycheck or accolades, we'd be starved, already lost or ran away. But when you're square solid and you circle too, you don't need a place for silence. The concept is conquered through media, not areas of people activity. A mix that don't lose ethnicity, tightness that don't lose elasticity. Explicitly, this isn't where we give the novice regard. Nah, this is where knowledge is born. Last time that I checked, I'm undefeated. Deliver edicts, can't resist when the gods build and manifest freedom. When lines get crossed, they may push a loss, cause they get handed a check. We kick your can and cancel your cancerous gestures. A prophet vision, precision, the prescription for the sickness is to inoculate your fate with the winning. Arrogant beginnings turn to humble endings. And US with KBA is the win-win. 1K.
Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio, place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born Alive. We here on this Mastering the Mind series. Been here for the last couple of weeks. Got some good feedback, some good commentary. So we're going to continue on the series. Today is the 22nd of January. And it is the birthday celebration of Sam Cooke. So maybe I'll do something later on to reflect on that. So we're dealing with victory is mine. So a place for where victory begins, it begins in the mind. And we're here on the Mastering the Mind ceremony series where we delve into the intricacies of the mind. There's an adage that says, to the victor belongs the spoils. To the victor belongs the spoils. So when we look at victory, we look at us in the space where we begin to work towards a goal, towards an objective. When we first started, we looked at master. And I told you that master is someone who trained under a master. And while they trained under that master, they were an apprentice. So during their apprenticeship, they took the tutelage and the instructions and the guidance from the experience of the master. So they labored under a master who taught them how to master their craft. So I just want you to think about your circles and your interactions in life and how it's set up in that relationship manner with which you learn and labor under a master. And a master is supposed to teach you how to master your craft. And when you reach a certain level of mastery, you ascend from a master to a fellow to a master of your craft. And then your journey begins. So just as in the womb, 3 trimesters in the womb, and your birth begins, your time in gestation ends, and your life in the physical world begins. So as to these levels of mastery in regards to your path towards victory. And to the victor belong as the spoils. The spoils of what, you say? The spoils of war. Because you don't reach your goals without a battle of some sort on a battlefield. And if you are in battle on a battlefield, you are waging war. In Islam, they teach the greatest struggle is what they would call jihad al nafs, or the internal struggle and fight. And the African adage says if there is no enemy within, the enemy without can do us no harm. So, in this process of learning how to master the mind, it's a war, it's a battle within. In that battle within, whomever is the victor, they enjoy the spoils. So, to know if there's a victor, there must be a victim, there must be a casualty. Something or someone must lose. So, on your path to success, something or someone has to lose. And if it's your path to success for a goal that you set, some things in you must be casualties along the way. Some things that you might have coveted, some things you might have held sacred, some things you thought you could not live without. On your pathway to your victory, you have to shed them, just as a snake has to shed that skin. So if you see that snake against something, it's using it as a prop or a means to shed away that old skin. So you can see that smooth skin underneath. Just as a farmer who goes out to the field, or the gardener who goes out to their garden, his or her garden, and surveys and begins to walk those grounds and looking at the condition of the earth, the disturbed earth. Underneath that disturbed earth is fertile soil. The richest and most beautiful soil is just beneath the surface. So, in the process of looking at the overview of your mind, the victory is not on the surface. The victory lies beneath the surface. So, in regards to today being the 22nd, in supreme mathematics, that would be victory. That would be wisdom, all being born to culture. So, to become victorious in the culture, you can't deal with the things that arise on the surface or face value. You have to go beneath the surface. There's some categorizations of those who seek knowledge. You have what they call leaf students who are antiquated and propped up with leaf knowledge. The leaf knowledge grows on a branch far away from the tree. So they might see this leaf knowledge as something profound, as something that agrees with whatever vestigial type of surface that it reflects. So it may look at this leaf knowledge that grows on the branches of the tree and take that in and run around and appear to have something that the man who doesn't have the leaf knowledge has. But leaves fall from the tree to the ground and return back into the earth. No matter how many leaves fall from the tree is still standing. So you could be fascinated by the various colorations of the leaves on the tree that go according to the seasons. And they go wherever the wind takes them. They're not firmly rooted. And all it takes is a little bit of disturbance and the leaves begin to fall from the tree. So you may see those who deal with knowledge in this particular way from a topical perspective, face value. And anything will do. Because in this space, their mind and their motivation are easily shaken by a little bit of friction. Not even pressure, just a little bit of friction. You have a routine and you're used to doing things a certain kind of way. A little friction comes in and throws off your routine and you're thrown. You're gone. And there are those who seek root knowledge. And they're firmly rooted. And they're willing to go from the leaf to the root in search of it. The roots of the tree, not the fruits of the tree, is what inspires and motivates them. So they deal with it from a perspective of root knowledge. They go beyond the appearance of a thing on the surface and seek to delve into the intricacies of its roots. So from the root to the fruit. And without the root, there would be no fruit. So without the root, there would be no leaves. If the roots are disconnected, if the roots are uprooted, the leaves won't return after the friction. So through the various seasons, we see that the tree, as long as it's firmly rooted, it can produce life. And those lives are evident in what we see from the leaves. So when we look at that from that perspective, we begin to journey into the mind. We begin to see these thoughts and how those thoughts manifest in the physical world. Those come from that firmly rooted perspective when we have a goal and an aspiration and it goes beyond the surface. That no matter how it is tried and tested, it begins to prevail. Beyond that time of apprenticeship, fellowship, into masterhood, beyond that time of first trimester, second trimester, and third trimester, that gestation period under the ground or in the womb or in the mind, past the naysayers and the dream states, beyond the topical aspirations. The mind that is firmly rooted will stand whatever trial and tribulation is there towards manifestation. So the most precious place is the most unprotected place. Even though we got the cranium where they say the brain is housed, it's the most fragile. It's the most important, yet it's the most fragile. Despite its encasement, cranium is pretty hard place. But all it takes is a little force to jar around that brain as it's the matter of the heart. And then everything becomes discombobulated, no longer cognitive. If the mind is fractured, it affects every aspect of your being, from communication to motor functions and all. So the most precious and sacred thing that we have is often most susceptible to rewiring, to being taken out of its functionality and being warped. So this mind that exists, in order to have victory over its various parts, it becomes necessary to train the mind, to train the brain, to master the mind in order to master the reality. Because this is the seat of how we see or perceive our reality in this place. So everything that is created in this place models after our perception, our perspective. As I said in the previous show, in studying martial arts, it says mind follows brain. And in that instance, mind follows pain. In that instance, that central nervous system sends signals to the brain when something is injured in the body to tell you and to remind you that it hurts. Pain is a miracle. However, it doesn't feel like a miracle in the body because as is in the mind. But you can train your mind to not focus on the pain. You can train your body not to focus on the pain. Your mind and body must become in sync with one another in order for those things to be able to come into existence. So you can eliminate the pain body to where there's a numbing effect and you no longer respond to the pain. The pain is still there. However, you don't acknowledge it. So, in regards to victory, when you proclaim it, like the church folks, they had a hymn that said, "Victory is mine. Victory today is mine." And then they said, "I told Satan to get behind. Victory today is mine." How powerful. How powerful is that in regards to that mantra of those who want to be victorious? Not even the devil could stop them from being victorious, that claimed it in their mind and began to actualize it in their reality. Claimed it in their mind, begin to actualize it in their reality. So the farmer claiming victory over nature, commanding victory over nature, walking through the elements and mastering command over the elements in order to produce food that is useful for life to in the space of gratitude, yet commanding the elements, earth, fire, water, air, to produce fruit and food for life, medicine for life, victory over sickness, victory over all of the challenges that present in life. So if you're victorious, that means that you had prepared for win. You have prepared to win. So are we in a position to where we have prepared ourselves to be victorious and for life after victory? So as we sing, as we elevate, as we begin to delve into those aspects of our higher mind, we can begin to prepare for prepare for battle, prepare to sustain ourselves in battle long enough for the victory. Our success is in our preparation and our willingness to endure through the process to arrive at victory, to arrive at goal accomplishment. So our mind, our greatest, must be protected in the process. Because as soon as the mind goes, so does everything. You can have all of the stamina in the world physically, but if you're mentally exhausted, that stamina will no longer have the willingness to continue. Your body won't be tired, but your mind. Your body might be able, but your mind won't be able to continue. So you must fortify your mind the same fashion you fortify your body. Build up defenses for your mind so that the mind is not in a space where which it can become attacked. And the attack can be so severe that you won't come back mentally. You could be present, physically, be gone. So this process of mastering the mind, proclaiming and claiming, doing what's necessary for that victory, we can't allow those aspects of ourselves to deter us. We have to put those things that will stop us from claiming our victory behind us. As the hymn says, ancestral moments of victory, commanding those aspects of ourselves that will not serve us in our victory to get behind. So look at the things that you do and be prepared to tell those things that don't serve you any benefit to get time. Those are your Satan. Those are those things that came along to test you to see how bad you wanted that victory, how bad you are willing to win. There's a story in the Bible about Jephthah, the ninth judge of Israel, and he was at war with the Ephraimites. And he wanted this battle so bad that he went to God and he said, God, if you give me this victory, if we win this battle against the Ephraimites, the first person I see, go back to my village, I'll offer to you as a sacrifice. Now, the battle against the Ephraimites is very, very important. To unify for the people of Israel. In order for peace to Jephthah had to be successful in this battle. So Jephthah goes into the battle and he's victorious. He's away for a long time. So he returns back to his victorious, proud, unified. He had brought people together and they were happy, they were victorious, they won. He won. He was victorious. So walking into his village, and who comes to meet him? Who was the first person that he laid eyes on? His daughter. David. She runs to her father. She looks to him. And he says, alas, my daughter. That is grand, unified for his people. Had brought all of these people who were family of one another that had been at war. And him wanting to be victorious promised the Creator his sacrifice. This is how bad he wanted to battle. So he tells his daughter, I promised you as a sacrifice for the Creator. Battle. The daughter says, okay, let me go chill with my friends for a little while. I'll come back. Sacrifice. So we have to be mindful of some of the things that we say that we want and what we are prepared to do to receive them, because sometimes those things come. So he wanted to be successful and he wanted peace to reign in Israel. So what are the things that we want to have in our life, and what are we prepared to do in order to obtain? These are very important questions. And how does having clarity in the mind, that's what we're talking about, having the spirit of clarity, focus, and determination towards these goals. What results do they yield in our life? What could we look to in order to be victorious in the attainment of our goals, whatever the goals are? Will it cost us a loved one? What will it cost? So as we reflect on today, as we reflect on our lives, as we search the deepest recesses of our mind and extrapolate from that our goals, our motivation, aspiration. Ask yourself what's more, what you're seeking to obtain, and what you're willing to offer up as a sacrifice. And just think of it. Remember, as you go through the mind, reflect on this question, look and ask, are you prepared? Have you proclaimed victory of your mind? Have you proclaimed victory over your circumstance? Have you shed that skin that will prevent you from reaching your goal, your aspiration, your dream? I'll just leave that there. Back speaking of clarity. Hope you learned something from this short talk. Check this out.
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. That in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm a African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? No more. This man's mind is open. I'm a African. I'm a African. I'm a African. I'm a. Let's get
and
back
that
to
motive
the
is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.